Hello, peace and blessings, and welcome back to my channel. It's me, Ellie the Muslim Blurred here, and today I'm sharing my anticipated book reads for the summer. There might be a different video for comics and manga as well, so be out on the look for that. So last video was my origin story. I've been slacking in my book reading, but I'm not really a speed reader. A lot of y'all are speed readers, or like you're really great at retaining information, and more power to you. I respect that. But I like to take it all in like I'm drinking a nice hot cup of tea. But for some of y'all, black coffee. Yeah. Slow, meticulous, and oftentimes painful. So currently I am finishing up Boy Snowbird. It's such an interesting story and a refreshing read. Boy Snowbird is made by Helen Oyeyemi. It really lures you in with each of her storylines because you can actually grow and you're moving with the characters, and you're also learning about some unsightly things about the character's past. But my favorite is when Oyeyemi talks about colorism without necessarily using the word. It's really a twist of, from my perspective, it's like a twist of Snow White, but with colorism. And I cannot, like, everyone loves her stepdaughter, Snow, because she's like this fair-skinned, and so she thinks she's marrying into like this just a random white family, but it actually turns out that the guy she's marrying to is black, and they have preserved their light skin tone for so long just so they could get past all the harsh barriers that comes with being black. And when I tell you that hit me, I was like, that's not what I thought was happening here. So it was really shocking, to say the least. But it's very vivid, very expansive, very peculiar, especially in how certain characters treat other characters from different characters' points of view. But if you haven't read it, I highly recommend this book. Once I finish, I really want to do a full review of the book because I've already talked a lot about it. I don't want to be that person that just spills the tea like this. All right, so my next book is actually something I'm currently reading. I just started it a couple days, like yesterday, and I'm on chapter 3. It is a young adult novel called We Are Not Okay by LaCour. I want to say I'm pronouncing that right, but LaCour. I initially bought the book because it was $2 on clearance at the bookstore I was at, and the cover is obviously gorgeous, okay? I'm on chapter 3 and I'm riddled with anxiety because it talks about death and grief, and I will get into that in the next book. So just for a little synopsis, so Mirren hasn't spoken to anyone from her old life since the day she left everything behind. No one knows the truth about those final weeks, not even her best friend Mabel. But even thousands of miles away from California coast at a college in New York, Mirren still feels the pull of life and tragedy she's tried to outrun. Now months later, alone in an empty dorm for winter break, Mirren waits. Mabel is coming to visit and will be forced to face everything that's been left unsaid and finally confront the loneliness that has made a home in her heart. And y'all, the way LaCour talks about grief, I actually made an Instagram post about this, but the way she talks about grief is it's not like, oh, this is what grief is. It's more of like how the character's feeling and what the character does. And it really hits home. And I explain more about that in my Instagram post. I'm not gonna talk about y'all on YouTube. So the next book I plan on reading this summer is gonna be Nexus by Ramez Naam. It's a techno thriller that reminds me of the video game Prey. If you haven't seen Prey, it has a lot to do with neuromods and basically injecting talents and knowledge into your brain via your eye. It's very sciencey, very sci-fi, very horror. But as a little synopsis of what this book is about, it is a trilogy. I have all 3 of the books because I saw the 2 and wanted to get the 1, and I said, here we are. So here's a synopsis. So in the future, the experimental nanodrug Nexus can link humans together mind to mind. There are some who want to improve it, and there are some who want to eradicate it, and there are others who just want to exploit it. And honestly, that sounds just like the Prey game. But this, when I read like a couple pages in, and I was like, this is wild, because so this is what's happening so far in the first few pages. This guy literally never goes out and does anything, and so he lets this computer program, the nano drug, take over, and he ends up taking this girl home, and he is just like the computer and the program is taking over his body, and he himself is just like kind of as a stand, like he's there mentally, but he's not really acting on anything. And then at one point, like the program like wires out, and the girl's like, "You're a freak, get away from me." And it's wild because I don't want to be like one of those people, but like it feels like I feel like people would do that if they had the chance. That's all I'm gonna say. I feel like people would do that if they had the chance. Anyway, last book I have is Bruised by Tanya Bodeju. I'm not sure. Let me know if I said it wrong. I bought this from Sincerely Tahiri. If you guys know who that is, she is a Muslim content creator. She's a Black Muslim content creator, and she's amazing. But I initially bought it because I loved the cover. After reading the synopsis, though, I wanted to, read it more. She had a bunch of books that she was selling, and I wanted to just buy them. But I wanted to read what they were about because I don't like things just being on my shelf that I don't like. So, to Daya Wojcinski is how I'm going to pronounce that. A bruise is a mixture of comfort and control. Since her parents died in a car accident she survived, bruises have become a way to keep her pain on the surface of her skin so that she doesn't need to deal with the ache in her deep heart. And like I said, and We Are Okay, not We Are Not Okay, and We Are Okay, I feel like I'm leaving her a lot of grief-based fiction books. It's not what I meant to do to myself, but here I am, giving myself anxiety and heart pains, watching these characters go through stuff and be like, me too, bro. Me too. But that is all. These are the books that I'm reading. These are just gonna be like the fiction books that I'm reading. Bam! Just so you can get this side of you. This sandwich is it's tasty, delicious. That's all I'm reading for fiction books. There will be another book for manga, especially with all the TBRs that I have to read. So you guys get to see the giant stack of manga that is on my TBR. And these are just the physical ones. I'm not even talking about the digital ones yet. We're not talking about them yet. That's all for me. I'll see you guys in a later video. Bye-bye.